Thank you all for signing up and for being here with us today. We have an exciting and very insightful 1 hour ahead of us with 3 amazing professionals to share some of their knowledge and experience with us. This is the Bridging Innovation webinar, Academia and Industry Collaborations in Brazil and Texas, hosted and sponsored by Brazil-Texas Chamber of Commerce, BRATECC, which we hope you all are either already members or join us soon. Next slide, Daniel. Just a quick intro to what we'll be doing today. I'll have a few words about BRATECC and the Technology, Education, and Innovation Committee. And then we'll have Dr. Alves talk about the Texas A&M University opportunities. Dr. Dantas talk about the SENAI CIMATEC opportunities and internalization efforts. And then we'll have Deneyse Kirkpatrick talk about some very exciting opportunities as well, and some hot topics like visa processing. We'll have the last 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions and discussions. And I also want to remind you that there is a Q&A button at the top of the screen. And if you have questions, you won't be able to use audio because audio is not enabled, but you can go ahead and start asking your questions. And then we'll be able to answer them as we go along and save some of them for the end of the webinar. So to get started a little bit on BRATECC, for those who don't know, Daniel, can you go forward, please? BRATECC is a nonprofit that was founded in 2001. So next year we have our 25th anniversary. We have many more than 100 members. For those who are interested in joining, their website is right there, and there's a QR code that you can use with your phone to get to our website. We aim to create an environment that connects individuals, organizations, and governments to share knowledge, information, and best practices, with the idea to promote innovation, investment, trade, and commerce between Texas and Brazil. We already have very robust business ties between Texas and Brazil, and might be obvious to most of us, anchored a lot in energy, given Houston is the energy capital and Brazil is the 7th largest energy producer. But BRATECC is not only about energy. We are growing in other spaces like energy transition, aerospace, academia, and technology. Those last 2 are the focus of this conversation today. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the Technology, Education, and Innovation Committee. Daniel, can you go forward, please? This committee that I'm a chair of was established in March 2024, so slightly over a year, to catalyze collaboration between academic institutions, research centers, innovation hubs, and industry, drive initiatives to advance technology, business, and academic growth, all with the objective, a final objective of strengthening economic ties between Brazil and Texas. We're very excited about the committee and being part of BRATECC. And I'm especially excited to be able to moderate this webinar today with 3 amazing women and professionals. But before that, I realized I didn't introduce myself. I'm Alana Leahy-Dios, PhD in chemical engineering and a long professional career in oil and gas. And I'm very proud to be part of BRATECC. So without taking much more of your time, Daniel, can you go forward? We're missing, there you go. I want to introduce you to our amazing speakers, Dr. Maria Claudia Alves, Dr. Josiane Dantas, and Deneyse Kirkpatrick. They have amazing careers. They're all 3 on LinkedIn, and you can check out what they've done in the past, and they are bringing some very exciting information for us today. So we'll go through their time in the order that you see them on the screen. And then, as I said, we'll have a bit of time at the end for Q&A. So without further ado, Dr. Alves, if you want to take over.
Great. Thank you, Alana, and thank you, BRATECC, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. My slides are coming up soon, but my name is Maria Alves. I'm the Senior Director for Halliburton Engineering Global Programs. We have the name Halliburton in the office that I work for because we have an endowment, some funding from Halliburton to help us prepare engineering students to lead in this global industry and in society. And what I share with our students and faculty is that endowment is great not only for the funding that we have, but also for the message that we send that today we really live in a global world and it's important that our engineers have this capability. So if you're coming from an academic background in Brazil, or in the US, I would highly recommend joining BRATECC because helping make those bridge is a great, it's very important for us to deliver our programs, and BRATECC is doing a great job in bringing people together to create those bridges. So again, my name is Maria Alves and I work at Texas A&M University. If we can go on the next slide, please. Texas A&M is the first public institution of higher learning of the state of Texas. It was created in 1876. We now have almost 80,000 students. Research is part of the mission of Texas A&M, and we are among the top 20 as a university in research expenditure. We involve not only our faculty members in research, but also our students. We form leaders, and we are actually the #1 in the US in our graduates serving as CEOs for Fortune 500 companies. And we have 2 branch campus, one in Galveston, the coast of Texas, for the marine and ocean research and courses, and also one in the Middle East in Doha in Qatar. The next one. More specifically, I work at Texas A&M Engineering, and when we talk about Texas A&M Engineering, it's not only the College of Engineering where the departments and academic degrees are located, we're also 3 state agencies. TIEC is the research agency, and it was created to work more effectively and efficiently with mainly industry, with funding agencies and industry. Universities, as you probably know, are very robust, and sometimes when finding funding research and creating contracts is a little bit harder. So TIEC was created over 100 years ago for that agility that is needed in research projects. You also have the Texas A&M Transportation Institute for research and training in areas related to transportation, and TIECs, and those are more training of like first responders, police officers, type of training, welders, rather than degree and research. The next one. I would like to start with a video. Daniel, if you could start with the video. It has some great images and some important numbers of our engineering enterprise. Sound is not working, but it's just the music. So if you can see the building, that works. So this is our state-of-the-art engineering education complex, Zachary. And here are some of our labs that are part of the College of Engineering and Texas A&M Engineering. This video was done a year ago. So now we have still 15 departments, but close to 25,000 engineering students and 800 faculty members. So those numbers are a little bit outdated. And in the engineering, we're actually ranked #1 in research expenditure. So a few numbers working towards showing our growth in the direction that A&M Engineering is going to. You can see some of our students and faculty be engaged in the projects that is done from the college. And we can move to the next slide where we'll show a little bit more information, but I wanted to share the video so you can see some of our facilities and how we engage faculty and students in the projects that we work. As I mentioned before, we have almost 25,000 engineering students. We award more than 5,000 engineering degrees each year. We have more than 800 faculty members, and 35 of them are part of the National Academy members. So very high level, high quality faculty members. And we spend over $400 million in research every year. If we can go to the next one, I would like to share with you that we have 3 new faculty members that are part of the National Academy of Engineering. And the first one, by the name, you can probably see that he's actually Brazilian. He was a faculty member at USP San Carlos, but now he's a faculty member with Texas A&M in biomedical engineering. And we also have Dr. Bowersox and Dr. Lipkin that have joined the National Academy of Engineering this year. Next one. I'm going fast so we can cover a lot of information in the short amount of time. We have 15 departments. We go from the most traditional ones with mechanical, chemical, and civil engineering, but we also have very specialized departments like petroleum engineering, where we ranked usually number 1 or 2 in the world, nuclear engineering, and aerospace, which is an important area that is growing right now. Next. Our departments are highly ranked. We are usually ranked among the top 10 of the public institutions in the US. Next one. Coming a little bit more into the TIEC mission, I think for this is very relevant, as the topic of the workshop is building that bridge between academic, industry, and projects and government and innovation. And TIEC is an agency for that and is part of our engineering enterprise. It has the mission of performing high quality research, tech transfer, so the research that is developed that it can positively impact our world and our industry, and as well as workforce development, because preparing our engineers at different level is very important that they stay current in what's happening in industry. Next. Those are the focus areas or areas of excellence that we have at Texas A&M Engineering: energy and power, healthcare, information systems, infrastructure, materials and manufacturing, and national security. And besides those 6 areas, there are 2 important initiatives that we're leading for the state of Texas. We are leading the space initiative. We have a Texas A&M Space Institute that is being built right now just outside of the gates of NASA in Houston. And we are also leading for the state of Texas the semiconductor initiative. So those are 2 areas of excellence that we are collaborating with industry and even other universities in Texas and around the world, and pushing forward the knowledge and the transfer of that technology into industry. Next one. So industry collaboration globally. Here I have some examples of what we have done and what we would like to continue to be doing and growing. Class projects, so that's a way for industry to not only get a solution for a problem that they have, but to engage with our students. So usually the capstone projects, those are students that are on the last year of their degree program. They will be working groups in solving problems for the industry, and we can do that in a global level. We can have a group of students from Texas A&M, for example, working with a group of students in SENAI CIMATEC jointly to solve an industry problem. And at the end of the class, they'll present a solution to the sponsor. Eggs Invent is a hackathon, is a weekend event, and also having problems or projects from industry that students can work in 48 hours and come up with unique solutions are a great way to engage with our students and to get unique solutions. Once a year, we do Invent for the Planet, where not only we are working, your industry will be working with Texas A&M engineering students, but also with the students that are part of our partner universities. We also work with industry for technical visits during our faculty-led programs and sponsor research either to a specific problem or in a consortium manner in continuing education courses and workshop. The next one. Well, here are just some examples of ways that we can work together if you're either a industry or if you are a university in Brazil or in the US. We also have workforce development that goes from the outreach all the way to the continuing education phase. Outreach being more the schools, K through 12. Then in the middle is career preparation with undergraduate, master's, and PhD. And then professional education with short workshops or sometimes longer courses. The next one. So our global partnerships are there for us to prepare engineering students to lead in global industry and society. We implement different types of programs in partnerships with universities, funding agencies, and industry all over the world. We also support research centers and clusters internationally, and we organize international programs in support of research, workforce development, and tech transfer. The next one. We really believe that it's important to develop strategic partnerships. On the next slide, please. That's our presence all over the world. And this is not only for the education programs that we have, but also for the research programs or research projects that we have. The next one. And the dots is to outline the countries and not specific, like in Brazil, it's all over the country, not only in the center. But for us, it's very important to develop strategic partnerships and partnerships that will be of value not only for Texas A&M, but also for the partner. We believe that this way is how we can develop programs that are long-lasting and that will have will be sustainable, will be high quality, and will bring value to the world. We want our programs not only to support our goal of sending 2,000 engineering students abroad each year. We're sending about 1,000, so we'd like to grow the types of programs that we send our students abroad. But through our partnerships, we ensure that those programs are not only safe, but high quality. And through the partnerships, we want to make sure the partner also sees the value to make it be long-lasting and for us to be able to overcome the differences. And that's one area that always comes up with Brazil, with the funding difference between the institutions. We need to be creative on how to find the value for both sides and both sides being able to achieve what they need. The next one. So these are some of the opportunities to work with academic institutions from all over the world. We can host and send our faculty members, international internships, short programs, and remote collaboration. And I'd like to go, in the interest of time, to my last slide. If we can go to the next, and one more will be my last slide, where I have two invitations. So this is just a closing thought that would like to leverage our partnerships to create value for industry and academia. And on the next slide is two invitations. We have the annual colloquium of international engineering education that we're hosting in November and at Texas A&M in Bryan College Station. So if you'd like to see best practices in that area, please join. That's the QR code. And we have a brand new project management certificate that the application is not open yet, but it's for this August 4th through the 15th. And it's for 60 contact hours in 2 weeks. So it'll be a very interesting program. And I'll share with BRATECC once the application is open. So those are the information that I prepared to share with you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alves. Very insightful, amazing facilities that you showed us there. Pretty impressive. And impressive numbers as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll switch gears to Dr. Viana and in Brazil, and looking forward to what you have to share with us. Danielle, can you get Josiane's slides up?
So hello everyone. Thank you from the BRATECC to invite me to talk and share the experience of SENAI CIMATEC. When you think about the research, when you think about education, I will share on the experience that SENAI CIMATEC has at that time. We are a young institution, especially when you talk about the university. But the idea is to talk the model of the SENAI CIMATEC because we are an ecosystem, and inside this ecosystem we join the education, science, technology, innovation, and business, directly connected with the Brazilian industry and the society. Can you go ahead? The next one. So, as I said before, no, can you move one, the second? Okay. As I said before, SENAI CIMATEC is a young institution. We are founded in 2022, and we have only 23 years, but we have most advanced technology and innovation institute, and the focus is work on in research and development solutions for the industry in different areas. Actually, we have the 6 campus. The first one in Salvador, it's close to the airport, and another one in Camaçari, it's close to the industry here, and we have a big facilities to promote the pilot plants. When you have a big machines, you can go there. But we have 4 more campus, I will show for you, and we have 1,700 collaborators, including faculties and research, engineers, and fellows. And we have 44 departments in different areas. Can you go ahead? So I like this screen because I think that explains the essence of SENAI CIMATEC. We are an ecosystem. If you look at in the white circle in the middle, you can see, for example, the technical education, because the SENAI here in Brazil, the main focus is to promote the technical educations and the research for industry. But here in SENAI CIMATEC, we can join the technical education with the higher education. Can you move on, Daniel? And you can join from the technical and undergrad courses, especially in the engineering, in architecture. But you can move, for example, to promote the master courses and the PG courses. Every activities here is very connected with the R&D projects to promote the real solutions for the industry and of course to promote the technology services. If you look around in these circles, you can look at the research institutes. There you can have a partnership, the funding agencies, the other universities in state of Bahia, but in other states in Brazil and outside Brazil. We have startups and ecosystem to promote the entrepreneur. We work on very connected with the public agencies, the partner companies, especially with the industry, because the missions, the main focus of SENAI is work to provide and to increase the competitive for the Brazilian industry. Next one. So I'm just putting the numbers of the projects that we have now. We have 158 projects ongoing. And in terms of the money, we have 1.7 billion reais to execute projects connected with the industry. Especially when you connect it with the different agencies in Brazil, we can see Embrapa or ANP or ANEL or the other agencies that you can share the cost of the innovation with the industry. The important point is all these projects we have including students, we have including professors and research to promote these solutions. Next one. This is the 44 departments that you have working integrated. For example, we have automation and computation and health and biotechnology, chemical process and oil and gas and mechanicals. And the idea is when you receive a demand, we share the demand and the problem with all the departments, and you can join to thinking about which the best solution that you can provide for the industry. The next one. This screen explains better the model that SENAI CIMATEC works. The demand is the market driven. We receive the demand of the industry or the government of the society. When I receive this demand, I put inside in the CIMATEC to understand which the best funding agencies, which the best equation financial that you can use, which kind of partners, institutions that I can invite to development these solutions connected with us. And in the first one, the first step is to sell them for the problem as educational scientific research projects or R&D projects or technology services or new business. This is the main focus of the SENAI CIMATEC works. They receive the demand and to provide the solution for the industry. The next one. So this is a photo about the campus that we have here, and we have the headquarters here in Salvador, as I mentioned, and the second one in the SENAI CIMATEC Park. This campus was launched in 2019 before the pandemic, but the idea is to move on all the projects that we need to big facilities, and we need to space, and we need sometimes the energy or the empowerment to provide the solution. We have a new campus in the semi-arid region. It's 200 kilometers from Salvador. And the idea is work on to exploring the biodiversity that Bahia state has. We have the SENAI CIMATEC Ocean. It's so close to Bahia de Todos os Santos here, because we have been developing a lot of projects connected with the underwater technology, especially for the oil and gas industry. And we have the SENAI CIMATEC Digital and Creative is a new campus in the middle of the tourist point here in Pelourinho, here in Salvador. And the idea is to provide the digital technologies for the students in the technical school and the undergrad. And the last year, we start a new campus here in the airport in Salvador, is the SENAI CIMATEC Aerospace. And the idea is work on to provide the technologies to drones and the airplanes and the helicopters in the new campus. Next one. So I'm just to show all the facilities that we have. We have a big computation center that we have been work a lot with the oil and gas and geophysics. For example, a lot of data or bioinformatics, or when you need to understand a lot of data, you can use the high computer solution to do. Next one. Another one we have very glad because we receive a big project from the Brazilian government and the Minister of Technology and the Embrapa. We are recognized with the Competence Center in Quantum Computer and Communication. And now this project put the Brazil on the map when you talk about the technology and the quantum. For us is good because this is a big project, it's a global project because we have been selecting a lot of students to training and qualification to provide the fellowships and provide a lot of connections with the other professors outside in Brazil to develop something connected with the quantum communication. Next one. And then another project that I would like to mention is the hydrogen. When you talk about the sustainable or when you need to talk about the low carbon strategy, we have been developing a lot of maps from to show the potentials that the Bahia state has of the world. And you have been developing R&D hub connected with the hydrogen solution. Next one. So this is the best project that we have been developing, and it's a glad for us. And this is a flatfish robot. Is a autonomous underwater vehicle prototype that you can develop in here. And this robot is now SENAI CIMATEC is providing the transfer tech for the SAIPEN. SAIPEN is the Italian industries that to exploring this technology. This project was being developed with the DFKI, is a Bremen University in Germany, and this project we have been including a lot of students from the undergrad in the master and PG students and connected with the internships with the German. And for us, this is a product. This technology started 5 years ago, but now I have very glad to see the robot in OTC in Houston this month. And for us, it's the product that you can start in size and connect it with the product and solution for industry. And the idea is to Petrobras and Shell now is using this robot to exploring the pipelines and to underwater, using this underwater solution. The next one. So this is just to see the photos in the operations of the flatfish. We have these in real operation, and this robot, every year this robot is going to update and to include some technologies inside to promote and to increase in preparing this product to the market. Next one. I think this just some examples about the solutions, the underwater solutions. Go ahead, Daniel. Only to show the courses, as I mentioned, we have the different technical courses in biotechnologies and petrochemical computations. Go ahead. And when you talk about the higher education, we have different courses from engineering, as I mentioned, and you have that in online courses, we have data science and mechanical engineering as well. One more. Is from the courses on master courses and PG courses. We have 4 different courses in this master and PG. Go ahead. Just to show the collaborations that we have all the world in Asia and Europe, Africa, and North America. We have been developing a lot of collaborations, especially when you connect students and you connect the research and professor. Go ahead. I think this is my last one. This is a photos of the SENAI CIMATEC Park. Is a innovation ecosystem, very open to receive industry. We have a big space there, and we have dedicated areas to pilot plant and certifications and full-scale prototypes. Now, for example, in this campus, we have 1,500 engineers from Ford Motor Company, because Ford closed the manufacturing plants here in Brazil, but we continue in development engineering for all the world here in Camaçari. Next. This is only my last screen, is the master plan of the plan from the future in SENAI CIMATEC Park. We have a big space and we are building one science park to connect the universities, connect institutions, and we have a big project from Petrobras and Shell with a laboratory to development the products for high pressure. We have a Ford, we have a lot of initiatives there in SENAI CIMATEC in Camaçari. And the important point is we are very open to start collaborations with the students, with the industry, and the different institutions. And thank you so much. I think this is my last one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. What an amazing set of slides and projects for a young institution, as you mentioned. I mean, even for not so young, but it's translated at the 1.7 billion reais is over $300 million and 158 projects. It's impressive, and not just projects, but actual results from them, right? Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's great. I want to welcome Deneyse now to talk to us a little bit about for 10 minutes, about her experience and what she's bringing from Texas. So if we can, Deneyse, I saw you earlier. You can.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Perfect. And I think Danielle is loading my slides. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, good evening or good morning, everyone. I'm actually overseas and it's evening here for me. I'm really excited to be part of today's conversation that is hosted by BRATECC, and I really admire them for bringing together and bridging both an American institution of higher learning and that of Brazil. And that's where TIEC comes in. TIEC is the Texas International Education Consortium. I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm Deneyse Kirkpatrick, and I'm the president of TIEC. And we are proudly celebrating our 40th anniversary. We were founded in 1985, largely as an English language school, but we have since evolved to a broader organization that really serves as the first point of contact for Texas-based universities to the world and vice versa. Institutions of higher learning abroad to Texas. So today in my presentation, I am going to introduce TIEC, highlight some of our work, and explore ways that we can strengthen the Texas-Brazil collaboration through higher education and private sector alliances. So just to give you a little background about myself, I am a former U.S. diplomat. I had the honor of serving in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and working at that time to facilitate the travel of Brazilian students through the 1,000 Strong program. With that, you know, this was really an opportunity to see the potential of Brazil. And I think that particular program laid the foundation to Brazil being a powerhouse in higher education, but also facilitating cross-border engagement. I do believe that education diplomacy, and I'm using that term very strategically, is really not abstract. It is a vehicle for real world collaboration, peace building, and economic growth. And that's what we really do at TIEC. We partner with institutions of higher learning across the world to help them achieve their goals. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like and how TIEC does that. You'll see here that the work that I've been doing for a while. This is actually a picture of me in Sao Paulo visiting the GE headquarters. And so I dug through my archives and found that, and I figured it'd be interesting to share that. You can go to the next slide. The next slide, please. It was the previous slide. You were on the correct slide. And I wanted to talk about TIEC's 3 pillars. So at the moment, you know, TIEC is really focused on trying to ensure that the landscape that we're operating is one that is agile, one that is meeting the needs of not only faculty, but students and institutions at large. So our 3 pillars are rooted in bridging education diplomacy, solidifying Texas as a global education hub, and partnering for global workforce readiness. And that's obviously one of the reasons I wanted to be part of this panel today. You can go on to the next slide, please. So TIEC, as I mentioned, is a 40-year-old organization. It is a member-based organization whereby our members pay fees. We have members in over 18 countries and support 60 institutions. That's 40 based in Texas and 20 and more based elsewhere around the world. So I would like to say we are a powerhouse of knowledge exchange and mutual opportunity. Next slide, please. So our community, and I think this is so key, particularly when we talk about how TIEC can be a bridge builder between industry and higher education, to note that our membership is a membership that represents over 60,000 faculty members in the Texas Consortium. So that also means that among our 40 Texas-based universities, 14 of our members are R1 members, they have R1 status, and that's significant because Texas, unlike other states, has a high number of R1 institutions, and that's a really big draw, particularly for our foreign affiliates who are looking to deepen and expand or improve the quality of their research. Next slide, please. Now, one of the things that's really exciting about the work that we do is that we align ourselves with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And for TIEC, we have chosen several, particularly focusing on good health, well-being, by which we have demonstrated by working with the Prince Mohammed University in Saudi Arabia and helping them build a teaching hospital. And essentially that has allowed us to bring a expert expertise and export it to Saudi Arabia. We also focus on SDG 4, which is prioritizing quality of education, and that is by tailoring curriculum development and training. And then thirdly, SDG 9, which is very relevant to today's conversation, and that is prioritizing industry innovation and infrastructure. And we do that by fostering academia and industry collaboration. Next slide, please. So just to give you an example of what this looks like in the real world, when we talk about global impact and how TIEC plays a role in really supporting our Texas-based institutions and our members abroad, is that for one example, we actually work with the University of Cairo to develop a nursing education program at Badr University. And what we did was help facilitate an in-depth curriculum review of their Bachelor of Science in Nursing and propose an accelerated Bachelor of Science in Nursing program in collaboration with the University of Texas at Arlington. So I just wanted to give you an example of what that looks like in real life. And if you are probably thinking about how does this happen, who initiates what, oftentimes our international partners approach TIEC and they ask us, for support to address any type of academic gaps that they may have. And so we tap into our network of 40 base members and identify the best partner that will help them address their needs. And I'll go more into depth specifically about the services that we offer. And you may go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay. And in terms of workforce development, and I think this is a very timely effort where we are trying to, you can go back to the previous slide because I want you to talk about workforce development. As we continue to help support particularly our Texas-based universities, seek research, collaborative opportunities, we also are trying to work toward to increase our workforce development partnerships. And that's of extreme importance to our partners, particularly, I would say, in the global South. And there are real opportunities there to skill up in a variety of different fields. I could just tell you, being in Saudi Arabia, where I am now, there's very much an interest in not only virtual programs, but also providing opportunities for students in this part of the world to have hands-on experience, both with industry, but also in academic environments. And so that's something that TIEC is very keen on doing. You can go to the next slide. Okay. So in a nutshell, as I mentioned, while we are a nonprofit fee-based or membership-based organization, we do offer services at a fee-for-service cost. And so what are those services that particularly are what I would say international affiliates are seeking? And that really is what drives our engagement and allows us to draw upon the expertise throughout our 40 members and 60,000 faculty members. So as I mentioned, we work on workforce development programs, grant management, and for grant management, that's oftentimes, or what has historically been, seeking out opportunities through the government. Our biggest partners have been the U.S. Department of State and at one point USAID. But we are starting to work with other institutions and foundations that have funding to initiate projects and leverage those opportunities to bring partners together. We also have helped facilitate English language program development. I imagine particularly for Brazilian students who are wanting to really tap into the academic world in the United States, this is where we too can be of a resource, where we may work with University of Texas or Texas A&M and use their expertise and develop a full program. But I can tell you, as much as English is important, I'm a big advocate for Americans learning language. And so one of the things that we are starting to look at is how to leverage our academic partners who have that background in English language acquisition to develop programs for Americans that will allow them to engage and study, have instruction in, for example, Portuguese. And so in this case, if there are any particularly Brazilian industry partners who are looking to expose more Americans to Portuguese, we can help develop a program around that as well. Curriculum planning and development is, I would say, probably one of the biggest asks from our international partners. And in fact, this is something that we have done in the area of engineering and are soon and will be doing in the area of film. So it doesn't matter, what I would say discipline, we bring in our Texas experts to really work with our partners hand in hand to customize curriculum and our review existing curriculum. And then finally, for our smaller American institutions, we serve as a J1 visa sponsor. And that essentially allows us to take in students or host students on a J1 visa and do all the paperwork on behalf of one of our Texas-based institutions. And right here, I think I'll just take a moment to talk a little bit about visas. I do not have a slide on visas, but perhaps that could be of interest, just given the news these days about student mobility. I will say this, and I do want to be transparent in that the rules and policies are changing, and I think we can all see that based on the news. At the same time, I would I would offer a word of encouragement, and that based on my time abroad and my team's time traveling over these last few months, there remains a strong interest in, I would say, foreign institutions in partnering with American institutions. And whether that is through COIL or online learning programs, or whether that is through more a greater focus on Americans, faculty and students traveling abroad, I think it's obvious that there's an interest in the establishment of branch campus abroad. But I think this is really opportunity to meet people where they are, because, you know, whether we are an academic institution or a nonprofit working in this space, we cannot control the U.S. policy and the government. But what we can control is how we create the opportunities for students and faculty. And that just may mean, particularly in the case of Americans, that we do more traveling abroad because we have that flexibility, unlike some of our colleagues who at this point are unable to apply for academic oriented visas. And I can tell you right now, we do not know how long that particular restriction will be in place. But TIEC is here to, you know, talk with prospective members or members in how to navigate that particular space. And I think in part, we do have opportunities working through our local leadership at the municipal level, at the state level. But also our diplomatic representatives, you know, in Texas and or Washington as conduit to continue to facilitate engagement. So I'll stop there, but, you know, if we have time out, we can address more questions. We'll go to the next slide because I think I've covered the most important and interesting pieces. So we'll just move on. And we can go on because I think we talked about the education. So when it comes to, we can go to the next slide because I wanted to talk a little bit about medical research institutions and hospitals. So as we know, Texas leads in medical research, healthcare delivery, and academic medicine. And we have, TIEC has really leveraged the expertise to support international partners, especially in regions like Brazil, where we see mutual opportunities in public health and medical education. One of the examples, you can go to the next slide, but I'll say this as it pertains to workforce readiness. We've worked with the Alamo College District to support a program whereby they bring nurses from Mexico who have already a high level of English to come to the United States and continue their professional program, and with the ultimate goal of being placed in a hospital that is sponsored by Methodist Hospital in San Antonio. So we've helped support curriculum development with that particular process. In terms of some of the work that I mentioned that we're doing in the MENA region, we have worked with Prince Muhammad University in developing a teaching hospital, drawing from our Texas expertise to meet their local health needs and prepare future physicians. And that has specifically allowed us to invite UT Tyler, University of Houston College of Medicine, and Dell Medical School to be part of that process. And I could not, the next slide, I cannot continue this presentation without acknowledging the energy aspect of the work we do. And this is on the next slide. And with that, you know, while obviously we seek opportunities to deliver products, at the same time, TIEC is really a platform that we use to elevate our members. And so we, for example, during COP27, work with Texas A&M to bring them into the COP27 activities to talk about what they were doing with their energy projects. So, you know, we try to partner across different sectors and platforms to highlight the work of our members. And I think it's just it's a real nice opportunity to show our collaboration. And in the next slide, I think I've already talked a little bit about how Texas A&M Energy Institute, which we've heard of, has been a key partner in promoting global energy. You can go to the next slide. And I'm almost toward the end. Okay. And you can go to the next slide. Next slide, please. I think, again, this is a picture of representatives from the Texas A&M Energy Institute alongside TIEC, Greentown Labs, and 5 Egyptian universities that presented at COP. And this was an opportunity to discuss climate change issues as well. So the partners I mentioned are partners, Egyptian partners are part of our consortium. And that brings me to the end. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take questions when we have the opportunity.
Thank you, Denise. I did not realize that TIEC has existed for 40 years. That's really impressive. And I really liked when you mentioned education diplomacy. I think if we all thought about that a little harder, collaborations would be much easier from the get-go. Really liked it and really enjoyed the mission. I think we have a few minutes for questions. I can't see the Q&A, unfortunately. I have some of my dear friends who are working in the background. Adrian and Flavio will let me know if there are any questions from the audience. But I would like to start with a question that I have, and I think it kind of applies to both the Texan University, the Brazilian institution, and TIEC in the middle there, which is how do I best connect with faculty members in Texas universities who want to do research or for internship projects, and at the same time, how do I connect with Brazilian universities? Are SENAI, CIMATEC, and TAMU tied with TIEC? How does that all work? Maybe if we can start with Dr. Alves on Texas, would be really helpful.
Sure. There are different ways. If it's a faculty member or a student in the field, a lot of times going to our website and looking at the research of the faculty member and reading through their papers and seeing if there is a connection is one way. Our office is there for that as well. So Halliburton Engineering Global Programs can be the first point of contact. It's important that the people be very specific on the type of collaboration they would like to have and the type of research they're looking for or areas. And this way we can be the bridge connecting either the faculty member to one of our faculty members or faculty members to a student that is interested in coming here for a master's or PhD.
Very helpful. Thank you. Dr. Dantas, could you tell us a little bit on the CIMATEC?
Yes. I think this Maria told that the best way we need, of course, to find is the area, the field that the student has interest to work. And here inside, you can send email by me. I am putting connected with the international office because we need to find the project that will have opportunity to pay a fellowship, for example, or to promote this internship. And I need to find the best faculty to start the bridge with the other faculty from the other universities or institutions. But I put my email on the chat, and the people, please send email for me, and I will try to organize this the best way to receive everybody here.
That's great. Thank you. Denise, would I be able to, if I were the student looking for internship opportunities or research opportunities, would I be able to go to TIEC in your organization to find out what is happening across the board?
Yes, as a student, you would be able to approach us. I will say, however, that it would probably be more common for a faculty member to do so, or a senior administrator, a dean, our president or provost of the university from a an institution that would approach us and would want to figure out how to create internships for their students by leveraging the TIEC network. And so again, depending on the discipline, we would tap into our network, out of the Texas one in particularly, and figure out, you know, what could we do in terms of facilitating opportunities. And, you know, Dr. Alves spoke to how it's structured at Texas A&M for Texas A&M students. And I think that, you know, the building out internships for students, particularly from overseas, can be done, but it has to be done very strategically, because we often try to reach a broader audience versus one or two students. So not to say that our focus are not students, but we typically work with the administrators or their international offices to develop their programs. And yes, we can be a one-stop shop for that.
That's great to know that. If I were a student, I'll probably have to go up through my existing institute. Right. We thank you for that. We got a question from the members of the audience. Thank you, Allison. I'd like to know more about what kind of partnerships it can do with companies based in the Houston area, run by Brazilians and serving mostly Brazilian companies in Brazil. That might be for you, Denise, since it's talking about Houston. So what kind of partnerships are there tying, you know, Brazilian companies and serving Brazilian communities? Or it might be for BRATECC.
Well, look, yeah, you know, this is why I'm here, and I'm, you know, so happy to Dr. Adria Baker, I know who's somewhere on this call, for really initiating this, and this came out of a, you know, part of a conversation we had about how could we do something and what more could we do. With that, I think a key part of that is, one, knowing what industry leaders are looking for. You know, so oftentimes it's talent, and they already have existing partnerships, as we have heard about. But I think what particularly institutions are looking for, in addition to the research component, is really supporting their students to be employable and develop global competencies. And it may not be done in a one semester or a few week online program. So I think in working with TIEC particularly, we are really much interested in the ecosystem and not just one-time opportunities. And so when it comes to the business community, and I apologize if there's noise in the background, but I've been working with the business community. I think it's a matter of understanding what are their needs and how we can meet them. Particularly, maybe they're looking for students to work in a particular sector of their industry, and they haven't found the students that have met those qualifications. So we could develop certificate programs complemented by internships, that, you know, research projects, et cetera. And so TIEC can customize whatever the needs are.
Thank you.
If I can add as well, I think the capstone projects, the joint projects with trips or without trips would be a possibility, and internships as well. So knowing the industry, and if the goal is to get Americans to understand the company in real, vice versa, we can develop different programs.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ad. We have two more questions. We might have time for one, and then for the audience who are asking questions, we'll answer them and send it back to you by email. So the question from an anonymous person, do any of your organizations have initiatives or projects for school kids, starting with middle school or maybe high school?
We do at Texas A&M. In the College of Engineering, we have an outreach group that is called Spark. They work specifically in motivating students into getting into STEM areas, and they also train teachers for those tools to prepare so they can bring that into the classroom. So I can share the resource that later.
Thank you, Dr. Alves.
In my case, in SENAI CIMATEC, we have a project we've connected with the middle school here to include more girls in the engineering course, and we have been work with 100 students. Now is work on to promote the interactive between the engineering courses and practice hands-on to invite the more girls and to increase this curve.
That's amazing.
For TIEC, BRATECC, we actually host students, and this is just one example, high school students from Japan who come to the US for up to 2 to 3 weeks, and they do English language immersion, American homestay, and cultural activities. So while not related to a specific degree program, there are opportunities to kind of lay the groundwork for students to be introduced to language and American culture and visit universities in Texas.
So a lot of opportunities all around for students before they get to university. That's great to hear. I wish I had those opportunities when I was a middle schooler or high schooler. I think we are at our time contract. I want to thank the speakers for taking the time to be here with us and to share so much insightful information. I've learned a lot today of what I didn't know before. So thank you. I also want to just take a minute to thank Adria Baker for, as Denise mentioned, getting this kickstarted and running it to the end until I got here like last week. Thank you so much. And for other questions that might be coming in, we'll answer them by email. And I think we got the emails from 2 presenters, and you'll get them all later. Thank you to the audience for being here with us and learning along with us. I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much.